So not only did we learn that Elsie was originally from the planet of Leonard, but also a princess. What an awesome reveal that ended up being. Hello everyone and welcome to Anime Awakening, and today we're here to talk about chapter 183 of the Eden Zero manga series. A chapter that really had the plan starting to go a bit sideways, as we get Shiki saving Rebecca and Elsie doing her own thing. Lots to talk about, so let's get into it. So let's start with the topic of Elsie, as we learned that yes, she is from this planet, and is a princess at that. This planet was once known for its thriving prosperity and its production of armed weapons. It became known as a threat to the world organizations. However, it was ravaged by war, a war that was created thanks to Elsie's misgivings relating to the planet's threats that it possessed and the mass weapon creation/production. She leaked out the planet's secrets in an attempt to stop her mother and father's brutality. This reveal links to that image that we see of Elsie when she was younger aboard the Eden Zero, as she looks quite sad, quite scared, shocked and tattered. This is most likely both from the effects of the war that it had on her and the guilt that was eating away. Elsie as a child seemed like she had pure intentions. She wanted to stop her mother and father's brutality, so that's not a bad reason to leak those secrets. But at the end of the day, her actions caused a destruction the likes of which she never could have imagined. People got hurt, people potentially died, and that's all on Elsie leaking secrets. And of course, partly on the planet for becoming a threat level that the government just couldn't actually ignore. Another thing that this reveal does is explain one of the many reasons as to why Justice really doesn't like Elsie, as we saw a cute little panel of Elsie teasing a young boy named James, who later would become known as Justice. This could also explain why both Justice and Elsie have the same/very similar ether gear, simply because they're from the same planet, in the same cosmos. So them growing up in the same environment kind of might have helped shape their ether gear to become that of a similar nature. We know that the planet was known for its weaponry, and of course Star Drain, which is the ether gear ability of both characters, creates a battle gear outfit that they can fight in. This of course is created from the planet's ether that they are on when they activate the ether gear. But of course, battle and weapons go hand in hand. I would be slightly surprised if this Elsie versus Ziggy battle actually happens within the next few chapters, as I think a real twist could be that Justice arrives and we get Justice versus Elsie, with Justice revealing that he's teamed up with Ziggy for a temporarily truce so that he can arrest/kill Elsie. If this fight were to happen instead, then we would learn more about the shared history that the two characters have in terms of them growing up on the planet, thus learning more about Leonard, while at the same time getting a very emotionally driven fight between the two. After all, just based on that small little panel that we got of both of them, James and Elsie as a kid, it seemed like they had some sort of connection even at a very young age. Plus, wouldn't it be an instant death flag on Elsie's part if she was to fight Ziggy at this moment in time? If she fights Justice, her life is a little bit less at risk. But let's move on to Ziggy's character now, as I loved his entrance that he had within this chapter. It had a rather sinister vibe to it, and that full body design looks amazing. We see this orb-like structure around the core of Ziggy's body, and in front of that, were some teeth-like objects. To me, this symbolized the control over the planet that Ziggy currently has, as the orb would represent the planet, where the teeth represent his hands holding a grip on what he is controlling. That's just the way that I saw it anyway. Returning to Elsie briefly, the theme of family was shown throughout this chapter's ending, as we got a reminder of Elsie being taken in by Ziggy, and how that experience taught her the importance of family when it comes to her crew. Plus, we also had young Elsie wanting to stop her parents, so again, relates back to family. Whoever Elsie fights, I want to see her crew interrupt their battle in an attempt to kind of showcase how much she means to her crew. Because we know that Elsie sees her crew as family, but do her crew see her as a family figure as well, to the point where they would risk their life, to save her? I think they would, but I'd like to see it. We also know that the Eden Zero will always be Elsie's family, as they saved her in her darkest hour. That's why she feels so compelled to stop this new evil Ziggy, which is nothing like the man she grew up and respected. This is kind of like when a family member in real life does something stupid or bad, and another family member intervenes to put them in their place and scolding them, basically saying, what you're doing is stupid, it's wrong, don't do it, we're not going to let you do that. That's exactly what Elsie is saying here. Ziggy is a part of her family, at least the memory of Ziggy when he was, pure-hearted and kind. But of course, his evil version is still technically Ziggy, but it's not the one that she remembers and sees as family, so she has to either bring him back or stop him. Now, moving away from those characters, let's talk about our crew members. Because this segment is where Hermit once again shows how awesome she can be, telling Holy that you may have researched all of us, but we've done your research on you too. The results: apparently Holy was humiliated by Dead End Crow in the past. Now this whole conversation really intrigued me, and now I really want to see what happened between both Holy and Dead End Crow that caused this humiliation. Another great line from Hermit was when she said only you can conquer past humiliations by facing it yourself. That line was super powerful, and it was perfectly delivered by the correct character. Having Hermit deliver this line was just pure genius, as it was a great callback to when Wise and Hermit faced Dr. Mueller. And of course, she overcame her past humiliation and trauma by sending Professor Mueller to the Shadow Realm. During this exchange of conversation between Hermit and Holy though, Holy looks shocked, even a little bit fearful, or perhaps nervous would be the correct words. Either nervous because of Hermit's ability to always surprise her, or she could be nervous about facing Dead End Crow and getting her revenge for that humiliation. Most likely, it's a bit of both. So I thought this was a very intriguing segment, and I hope we get expanded upon in the details that got presented. Now then, let's look at the teams. We have Sister, Hermit, Holy, Jin, Lugana, and Colleen going to hunt giants, which is basically Dead End Crow. Now, I do foresee the Mother of Dragons, Arknuella, getting involved with one of the group. I feel like that has to happen. Maybe she gets involved with Shiki's group and then sort of delays them while Ziggy is dealing with Elsie, and then obviously once Arknuella goes down and Elsie goes down, then Shiki and Ziggy will meet. But then this, of course, with the teams, leaves Shiki, Rebecca, Elsie, Wise, and Homura, Pino and Happy as well, going to the core. But not only did Elsie stray away from the plan, but Rebecca is still having issues with the guilt of the chronophase having an effect on planets that she used her ability on. This of course causes her to lose focus and get hit, thus spiraling and crashing, only to be saved by Shiki. This segment of seeing Shiki jump out of his ship to save the girl reminded me of the scene in Spider-Man No Way Home where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man jumps to save MJ. Anyone else think of that, or was it just me? Still though, seeing Rebecca still mentally struggling to come to terms with this issue is both realistic and very entertaining, as it adds a bit of tension to the plan. while also giving us a bit of character development for Rebecca moving forward. Overall though, I thought this chapter was great. It felt very short, as not a lot happened in terms of plot progression, but at the same time, that was a good thing. Because last chapter I mentioned I was slightly worried about the pacing of this arc, as in it felt too fast. But now the pacing has come down, I'm actually happy about that. Because the plot may not have moved forward massively, but we had a lot of reveals and details given to us this chapter that keeps us speculating, keeps us guessing, and keeps us wanting more. So those are my thoughts on this chapter. If you have anything to add, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on this chapter as well. And of course, I hope you enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And of course, I'll be seeing you next time. Have a great day. Arigato, matane. Goodbye.